What you are going to do today is you are going to create a cover letter. So everybody should have already written a rough draft of the resume. You've edited it a couple of times. We'll continue to add to it before mock interviews. The next thing that you're going to create is a cover letter. This is really important in the job search. So typically what happens is you would go to a job search website, or maybe you have a place that you would like to work and you're going to email or mail your resume and your cover letter to them. If you're going to do a job search, I just put this on here just for your knowledge and for if you ever decide, some of you are getting ready to graduate, and so you may want to start looking for jobs. These are some of the best sites that you can go to. You've probably heard of a lot of these. Indeed is a really popular one where people will post job postings in there. So essentially what you do, you probably have to create an account to really use it well, but I'm going to go ahead and go to Indeed. So essentially what you do is you search for jobs in here. So you can search like specific places. You can search for types of jobs. You can search for, as you can see here when I clicked on the job search section, that you can find places that are hiring immediately. You can do part-time work, working from home, full-time, remote, all sorts of stuff. So for the sake of our class, let's say I was going to type in graphic designer. And then you would put the location that you're doing a search from. So let's say Elkhart, Indiana. So if I click on search, you can see that there are several available. Okay, so you can see that. And then when you click on one of them, then it will tell you about that job posting. So typically it will tell you about how much money you could make. And it might be by hour, or it might be by salary. Just kind of depends on the job. And then it will tell you information. Let me click on this. It will tell you information about the job. So it will tell you about the job description and what you will be doing. It will tell you your duties and responsibilities typically. And then usually it will have like what skills are required for this. So what you want to do when you're writing a cover letter, and I've got a few things in here to help you. I have this little sheet in here to help you with it. So cover letters are about, I don't know, 3 to 5 paragraphs. They don't have to be very long. But the first thing to remember about your cover letter is that you're marketing yourself. You have your resume that lists your skills and your experience and your education, but now you are marketing yourself. You're telling people what job you are applying for, why you think you would be good for that job, and the skills that you have that make you qualified for that job. You might even give a little bit of information about why you want to work for that particular company. So you do want to use professional cover letter formatting. In other words, this is a formal letter. You can go into Google Docs, and just like they have templates for resumes, if you click on template gallery up here, make sure you're under general, not Elkhart Community Schools, you can scroll down and you can see letters in here. Try, for consistency, try to pick a format that resembles your resume. So for example, if you use the Swiss resume layout, I would use the Swiss letter resume or letter layout in this. And then when you click on it, again, you can kind of fill in your information just like on the resume. If you're not comfortable with putting your street address in there, you can get rid of that. You will want to date the letter, so you're dating the letter as what the time that you're writing it or sending it. This information right here is who you're writing the letter to. So this is going to be the person that you write the letter to at the company. And then you would put Dear Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. or Doctor, and then their name here. And then you write the body of your letter, and then you have sincerely and your name. The reason for this large space right here is if you print this letter, you would sign it with a pen in that space. For the sake of what we're doing, we will be printing these. But if you emailed this, then you could just get rid of this spacing in here. So now let's talk about what goes into the body of the letter. All right, so again, you want to personalize that greeting. Make sure you're writing it to the proper person. Usually that information will be in the job posting of who you're supposed to send it to. If it doesn't list a specific person, you could put it as Dear Marketing Director or Dear Human Resources Recruiter. But if there is a specific person that the job posting tells you to send the letter to, address it to that person. So Dear Ms. Smith or Dear Mr. Diaz. And then looking at the body of the paragraph. That first paragraph consists of why they are receiving the letter, the position that you're applying for. If there's a person that referred you, definitely name drop. So like if I were to have told you about the job posting, then you would say, oh, my graphic design instructor, Amber Kozar, told me about this posting. Also, how you heard about the position. Did you hear about it from a friend or a relative, or did you hear about it on Indeed? So let them know where you heard about the position. So these are just some examples of how you might write that first paragraph. You might want to write a little bit more, but this is kind of the opening. So I am writing in a response to the graphic design position at XYZ company listed on the Otis online job board. Or you could say, while researching organizations at the Elkhart Area Career Center for Creative Professions, I read the information you recently provided regarding XYZ's company job opportunities. Upon graduation in the spring, I would like to begin a career in graphic design with your organization. And there's a couple other examples there as well. So again, why are they receiving the letter? You are applying for a certain position, whether it's graphic design or whatever it is. If you found out about it through someone, let them know who you heard it from, or if you read about it on a job posting site or in the newspaper, or you saw an ad on TV or something like that, let them know how you heard about it. The second paragraph is going to communicate your skills and your experience. And how is that going to help the employer out? So think about the skills that you have, the skills that they're requesting in the job posting, and then write about how you meet those skills. Highlight accomplishments, show your enthusiasm for wanting to work there, and basically you're saying why you're a good match. So there's some examples listed there for you, so I'm going to read one of them. So you might say, I'm actively pursuing a career in graphic design. As noted on my resume, this past summer I interned at MGM Studios, where I worked on an advertising campaign for an animated film. For my senior project, I completed a website for a local startup business. With my leadership abilities, creative skills, and related background, I would work hard to be an effective member of your staff. So again, you're selling yourself, you're selling your skills, but make sure you're focusing on the skills that are required in the job posting. So if they're asking that you know the Adobe software, let them know what software you know. If they're asking for people that are self-motivated, talk about how you're self-motivated. So make sure you're talking about those skills. And then the final paragraph is where you're going to wrap it up and let the employer know that you appreciate their time and how they can reach out to you. In either the second or the third paragraph, this might also be the place where you put a link to your website. First years, I know you don't have that link yet, but you can. This is just a rough draft. So when you're talking about your skills, you also want to direct them to view your work. So it can be done in the second paragraph, or it can be done in the third paragraph. So in that third paragraph, you might say something along the lines of, thank you very much for taking the time to consider my resume. If you have any questions, please contact me. Again, you might also direct them to your website. So that might say, thank you very much for taking the time to consider my resume. I've also attached a link to my portfolio so you can take a look at some of the work that I've done. And then if you have any questions, please contact me. Some final tips: make sure that you're keeping your cover letter to 1 page. It should not be very long. Again, you're seeing here about 3 paragraphs. Again, make sure you're addressing it to a specific person if possible. Make sure that you're tailoring the requirements of the job and the employer's needs. So when you're talking about your skills, make sure that you're talking about the skills that they've asked you to talk that they need in that job posting. Also, do a little research about the organization. It's always good. If you want to work there, why are the reasons that you want to work there? So do a little research. It might just be taking a few minutes to look at their social media or look at their website. Make sure that you have no spelling, punctuation, and grammatical errors. Remember, you have spell check and grammar check in Google Docs. You can also install Grammarly and be able to use Grammarly as well. A lot of people will throw it away and not pursue you if you have any errors in it. Also, make sure that you're writing it in your own words. Don't copy materials out of books or websites. This should be your own writing. And then always make sure that you proofread it and ask others to proofread it as well, because a lot of times we know what it's supposed to say and our brains will fix it. So of course I will look at it and give you feedback on it as well. So what you guys are going to do, here's an example of a cover letter that you can read through and see how that works. So again, you'll address it to the specific person, make sure that you use the proper salutations, and then you can read through that to see kind of an example of what you're writing, but do not copy my example. What you are going to do then is you are going to take this job posting. So Mary Winzonka from Lithotone has written a job posting that she would provide if she was looking for a graphic designer at Lithotone. So a graphic designer is needed. In addition to print and web ad design, duties may include writing for social media and being able to work with a content creator to design and schedule email communications to clients and customers. So that is the job posting and the responsibilities. So you need to make sure that you have the skills for that. Everybody at some point will have those skills from this program. So the qualified applicant must be able to do the following abilities. You must be able to manage and prioritize deadlines, have the ability to work both in a team and individually on a project, be able to work with account managers and follow directions to fulfill the client's wishes, demonstrate proficiency in typing, spelling, grammar, and language usage with ability to proof their own work, ability to participate in brainstorming sessions, perform other duties or special projects as assigned by the manager, and be familiar with the Adobe Creative Suite software and become proficient in them within 6 weeks of employment. So those are the skills that they're looking for. So you guys have the majority of those skills, or maybe some of you have all of those skills already. You need to write about that. You need to let them know that you can fulfill the duties that they're asking. Then applicants should be aware of current design trends and be flexible in what is required for the job, as this is a constantly changing industry. If you feel this would be a good fit for you, please send cover letters and resumes to Mary Winzonka. So again, you would write your cover letter to Mary Winzonka, and you are going to address these requirements in your cover letter based on the things that I just talked about. So hopefully that will get you started. This is just a rough draft. I know you're doing it on your own without me being there to help. So just do it to the very best of your ability at this point. And then I will take a look at them and offer suggestions for revisions. And we'll get these nice and tidied up before mock interviews.